Welcome back. Welcome back to more Darktide. Welcome back to this playthrough. I'm Josuke. I'm here to replay through the Darktide campaign missions with a completely fresh character. As you can see with my other characters, I definitely have a bit of experience with this, but I just wanted to go through in anticipation of the new class that you can see in the top right, the Scoreboard Alpha Primus. Just to kind of a little bit of a celebration for myself and hopefully to spread the word of Darktide, you know. Play through the campaign, give some tips and tricks from my time playing Darktide. I'm by no means like an expert. For those of you who know, I don't really go up to Havoc 40. But I've definitely played the game a lot, as you can see. I have over 300 hours. Something like that. Over 300 at least.
To rest. You need to do your bit and get things back to normal.
Yes. Okay. Well, anyway. Last we left off, we were sent on a prison ship that was heading to Atoma Prime, and that prisoner ship was attacked. We were sat across from a very strange looking dude, and it turned out that dude seemed to be tied to the attackers and some amount of authority, as they seemed to be rescuing him specifically. And it turned out that the place that we were going to, Atoma Prime, which you could see just outside those windows.
Yes, I'm afraid a purging of that sector may be overdue.
Yes, it is. I'm glad that my death could serve the Emperor. It turns out that entire planet had fallen under attack from the forces of chaos, or basically evildoers, if you're not familiar with the forces of chaos. The world of Warhammer 40k isn't exactly apt to those kinds of terms like evildoers and good, as so much of the entire setting is awash in gray tones. Even as the good guys, we basically fight on the force of the quote-unquote good guys, but the good guys are very much awful. And the evil people often provide some amount of comfort and are willing to like help those who we have left behind, and it's very much a cycle of just abuse and trauma that ends up usually with entire planets getting laid out to waste, and it seems like this kind of cycle is repeating itself once again with Atoma Prime. We fought our way off the Tancred Bastion. I'm glad, because I'm about to go over there. We fought our way off the Tancred Bastion. We're saved by Exquisitor Zola, who, in exchange for us saving her life, brought us onto this ship, where the Inquisition, like the kind of secret army, secret police force of humanity here, is set up, and we're trying to fight for the sake of Atoma Prime. Specifically, the hive city of Tertium.
Atoma would seem to be in for a very rough time of it.
Yes. Yes, it is. We went down as sort of a test run, fought and killed an arch heretic, someone of a bit higher status in the heretic's ranks, and now we've been allowed access to the armory exchange. So let's check that out, and after we can go over, we got a few talent points, I think 1 or 2, and we can begin to kind of discuss how we should go about using those, things we should look out for, steps we can take. But let's look at the armory exchange for now.
An operative lives or dies by their weaponry, but the supply situation's dire, so we use whatever we can get our hands on. I've cleared you for access to the Armory Exchange. From there, you can requisition reconditioned weaponry recovered from the field. Be sure that you're always carrying the best that's available. Looking for a specific weapon type? Put in a request with Quartermaster Brunt, or one of his servitors. What you get won't be top of the line, but it should cater to your tastes.
Assignment Reclamation Zone 15A.
Yes? Can I be of service?
Absolutely. Currently, our setup is, I believe, just the starter gear for our class, which is a combat axe and a shredder auto pistol. If you can see in the top left there, just below my character named Dolan, we play as a zealot. So this is actually just the starter gear. Don't worry too much about all those kinds of numbers that you're seeing in the top middle of the screen. We can go over that a bit more. This is actually, the weapon we have isn't too bad in terms of kind of the max stats that we're looking for, but we'll go into that a bit later. For now, let's see if we could get something better,
To serve.
because we actually can't upgrade our starter gear. We can only upgrade these other weapons. So let's see what we have access to. This is from the requisitioned weapons and curios. Curios are things that we'll get into a bit later on as we progress further into the story. But for now, it's mainly just things that were retrieved from the field, and now we can buy them. I have a surplus of money because I've played this game so much on my other characters. But usually when you get to this point, you'll basically have just enough for maybe one weapon, two weapons at max. So you should try to be careful and try to get a feel for kind of what you're looking for. You can usually take a look at the weapons keywords right there. If you see in the, here, let me get my mouse. This part right here, where it says strike down and armor piercing, that's usually will give you a bit of a guide onto how this weapon will kind of work, how it'll move. You can see here it says flurry and crowd control. This is the Devil's Claw, and its special ability is parry. So this one enables you to parry enemy melee attacks. It's about attacking fast, cutting down hordes, that kind of thing. While the combat axe is strike down and armor piercing. It's much more single target focused, much less for horde damage, and much more I'm gonna kill just this one person and deal a lot of damage with my one hit. Given that we are the zealot and we are capable of so much damage already, I think I might go with a Devil's Claw sword. Generally, outside of kind of min-maxing your stats, the main thing you want to look for is just this 30 number. Just get that as high as you can, really. As we progress further, we can go into kind of min-maxing stats, upgrading weapons, blessings, all manner of other things that we can get into. But to keep it simple, we want that 30 number as high as it can be. And right now we are not trusted enough to get up to the 60 and 40, so let's get one of these 30s here. And if these two just seem identical, then at least go for the one that seems to have the higher damage. Usually that's kind of my go-to. So we can take this one here.
Clearance granted.
And that's a new melee weapon for us, and we also have a new ranged weapon. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word ranged. So same rules apply here. We want to get that number as high as we can with a weapon that we like. One of the things we should be looking out for the keywords. Again, you see this combat shotgun, close combat, high damage, very much how you would expect a combat shotgun to work. Braced autogun is torrent, high capacity. This is mobile and torrent. So you can tell that these two guns are all about just a stream of fire that you're unloading. Well, this one is much more, every shot is dealing a lot more damage. Something to look out for when you're kind of deciding what to go for. I personally always preferred the torrent style weaponry. The combat shotguns and the close combat high damage keywords could be useful. I always prefer the torrent style. It's just something that I like the style of. It kind of helps what I try to do when I play. but maybe you'll be different. For me, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this braced auto.
Sold.
Now that's from the requisition weapons, you're curious. But you could also just do Brunt's Armory and get a guaranteed pick, because you see this one is kind of he has whatever he has. You can see just below down here, which is 32 minutes. This actually refreshes. So here you can get you can kind of take your pick from what's available. But if maybe the weapon that you want isn't listed here, you can go to Brunt's Armory and get a specific weapon of your choosing, but its stats and whatnot will be more random. So you can get your, you can get a guaranteed auto pistol or a guaranteed braced auto gun if one isn't available, but it might not have kind of the best stats. It might not be in the best condition. So something to keep in mind if you're looking for something specific and they don't seem to have it. You could always just gamble over here and see what you get. Again, just to kind of give an example,
Completed.
you would want this number as high as possible. Right now we got a 20. We're not going to get much higher. We're only level 2. We can get up to level 30. And this number, that 20 number, it can actually get all the way up to 500, just to show the level of, like, the scale at which we can improve these weapons. With all that, let's adjust our weapons, swap them out. And we got this one. We got this one. And now we finally have 2 talents. Now, talents can be spent. You can see my definitions, that my little descriptions will be a bit different thanks to one of the mods that I use, which is basically to increase the readability and how intelligible some of the definitions are and descriptions. They can be a bit vague in some ways and then hyper focus on other things in other ways. So the mod that I use kind of straightens it out for most times. I think the only time that they ever mess up is when something is new, like brand new, and they haven't had time to correct it within the mod, But outside of that, it works every single time. Talent points can be spent in our talents, as you can see up there. We use these to basically get certain extra abilities. And as we go, we can unlock certain special items, skills that we could use. And you can see this skill tree goes down quite a bit, but however, we'll only get a maximum of 30 points. So we have to be a bit careful, because if we just start picking everything, every option available, for one, we won't really have a kind of viable sort of build, and that's something you're going to want to need as you level up and get to higher difficulties in Darktide. So what you want to do is be a bit more picky in how you want to choose, and something like this, like you can see it's a Blitz, this is a Stun Storm Grenade, this is an Immolation Grenade, and this is the Blades of Faith. You can only pick one of these. You see whenever I select one, the other ones get a chain on them, and when I select none of them, they're all there. So I can only pick one of these. So you can use these kinds of things. We have the Blitz, our Aura, our Ability, and then our Keystone. You can use all of these to really hyper focus in on the kind of build that you want. Whatever kind of direction you want to take your character. Generally, you could take a look at these images. These images here. Every single class will have these images up here to kind of give you a guide of what to look for and what to expect from either the middle, the left, or the right. And usually, at least how I do it, it'll kind of be a mix of all three. Sometimes you want this thing, sometimes you want that thing, sometimes you want the middle. But generally, you can take a look to see that this is what it's after. You can see on the left side, he's screaming, he's got his melee weapon out, he's charging forward. So this is probably a more upfront, in-your-face, direct melee damage style. Well, in the middle, he has this religious icon that he's wielding. He's got some sort of staff. You can see whatever this is faltering. It looks like just his, it's a much more aura focus thing, commanding the battlefield perhaps, using our zealous ways to be more of a support role to our team, an icon of the Emperor. Well, this one looks a bit more subdued, a bit more stealthy. You can see he just has his one weapon and he's not really charging forward. He's kind of holding back. So maybe this right side would be a bit more stealthy, a bit more subdued, maybe higher backstabbing. Maybe where instead of charging in, we're taking a retreat. We're being more mindful with how we engage, basically. But for now, we only have 2 of these, so we can't really worry too much about our build yet. That's just kind of general guidelines to follow. Right now, I have the Devil Claw Sword, kind of quick melee weapon, and the Braced Auto Gun, Torrent ranged weapon. So let's see what we could do with what we have. Disdain is plus 5% damage for every second melee attack you make for each enemy you hit by your previous melee attack. So every second melee attack you make is increased in damage by your previous melee attack, and we'll be making a ton of melee attacks with this Devil's Claw Sword. So that's definitely something we want to pick up, increase the damage that we're dealing, and just have it stacking. You see it says it stacks 5 times, so that's definitely something that we're going to be chasing after. Blood Redemption is plus 100% toughness replenishment on melee kill. That certainly sounds pretty good. Enemies within, enemies without, 2.5% toughness replenished per second while within 5 meters range of an enemy, plus 1% per additional enemy. Monstrosities count as 5, up to 7.5%. So you can see there's a little chart just below, thanks to the mod that I use, and it shows how much toughness that we'll get back. At 1, we're getting 2.5% every second, and all the way up to 5, we get 6.5, and above 5, it's 7.5. So that's just constant toughness that we're getting back. That could be pretty useful, but right now, I think Blood Redemption is the way to go, because we won't be dealing with a lot of enemies that we won't be able to kill relatively quickly, so we won't really need to rely on kind of a passive toughness regeneration. We could definitely rely on this, on Blood Redemption, to kind of give us a steady amount of toughness replenishment. Second Wind will give us 15% toughness replenishment on a successful dodge, and I don't dodge too much. I don't really use it that much. And this one over here is Backstabber, so you can see this right side along with that right image iconography gives plus 25% damage on backstab and flanking hits. So it requires you to be much more careful, but when you are careful, you'll be dealing a lot more damage. But that's not really the style we're going for. So I think I'll go with Blood Redemption for now. So now we will deal 5% extra damage for every second melee attack based on our previous attack, and it stacks up to 5 times, and whenever we kill someone, we will get plus 100% toughness replenishment, as long as it's a melee weapon. So with all that said and done,
Artificer services are available to you, Varlet.
I don't think they are. Yeah, they're not. Don't talk to me. Don't worry about her. But we can hop into back over here with Stephanie.
Oh, good. Another worthless blunt.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. We got up into the meat grinder. Something very useful for us. This will basically allow us to take any of the weapons that we've gotten and test them out against enemies, see how much damage they deal, see if how our things communicate with them. Another thing I forgot to mention about talents is you can, at any time, completely for free, refund them. At any point, as long as you have talent points, you can spend them, and you can refund them. So don't worry too much about, oh, I've messed up my build, I need to make sure I perfect this right away, because as you'll play and kind of find your style of play, your build will naturally kind of refine itself, and you'll come in and read these more, kind of begin to see a kind of through line, you know, really see the build that you're kind of putting together. And you can always just adjust on the fly whenever you're not in a mission. So don't feel too nervous or intense about needing to get it right the first time. You can always just refund and correct the build. But yeah, let's see here. This weapon does seem to be doing pretty well. Let's go for more. Yeah, wide arcing attack. You can really see that talent that I got. Disdain. Really amping up the damage that I'm dealing whenever I strike multiples of them. See those big, sweeping, heavy attacks really help me out. So then I'm dealing a ton of extra damage, so that will definitely be useful for us. Let's check out our ranged weapon. Cuts them down. Now that's useful. Let's see how it can perform against some of these more dangerous types. Let's see this. Scab Rager here. Seems to do a good job stunning him, staggering him, giving us a bit of space while also allowing us to kind of amplify the damage that we're dealing. Ooh, some big enemies here. Don't worry about those just yet. I don't think they'll be introduced yet. But it seems like, how about a Scab Mauler? Let's see. Seem to be the same thing. We cut them down pretty quickly. Seems to work well. Another thing to keep in mind is our special weapon attack. Every weapon has a special weapon attack. For this ranged weapon, it's a bash. For our melee weapon, it's a parry. You can see that. Whoop. So if he would swing on us and we would parry it just in time, we would actually deflect the blow and strike back at him hard. Something to keep in mind. Every single weapon has a special weapon attack. Always something to look out for when you're trying to pick a weapon for yourself. But with all that said, let's get out of this. The Psychanium. And continue our mission. We are needed on Atoma Prime. We are a member of this warband, fighting for the sake of Tertium. Up next, we are doing Campaign 2, Purge and Purify. There's something in the water down in the torrent. Let's see how this goes.
Tertium can't fight without a sustainable water supply. So guess what the heretics have gone after? The trouble's confined to a single silo, for now. The heretics are pumping their poison in from there. Get down there and deal with the demon, by any means necessary. You know how this works.
Oh, we're dropped right into the middle of the action. Let's check, make sure we're reloaded, make sure we're all good. So far, but I was still able to hit him. Ooh, careful. Keep an ear out for that pox pusher. Kill it at range. Remember to get your slides in from ranged enemies. Doug doesn't in case our teammates
There be
didn't see them.
nothing in death but an end to duty.
Using my ability, charge in, get a guaranteed critical hit. Ooh, yeah, that ranged weapon is serving us well.
I keep hoping the Ragged King's court will have collapsed. Not always next time.
Oh. Ammo! Anybody need it? Go ahead, teammate. Those resources like ammo and whatnot, those are shared between all of you. Like there's only one version, one instance of that ammo. So try to make sure to be sharing is caring, basically, when it comes to ammunition and grenades.
Away from yon
Flew right at me like a Five Nights at Freddy's Foxy jump scare. Oh! Teammate fell down. I got you, friend.
Were your eyes closed in prayer at all?
Nope. Another heretic idol. Gotta make sure to get rid of those. Generally, you'll want to be using your abilities pretty often. You'll be getting them back very frequently, especially as you progress through the mission and as you level up and get other abilities to get them back even faster. So don't feel too stingy with them. Be willing to kind of use them whenever you see even a slight opportunity that it could give you a kind of leg up, you know. You see me using them pretty frequently.
Careful, kindred. This place be a nest for faithless vermin. The path goes down. No choice then. Celerity stem.
Mark the celerity stem for our teammates.
Receive the Emperor's mercy.
Locate the freight link elevator.
When my time comes, kindly do not leave my body for the heretic.
I shall send thee to the God Emperor on wings of flame.
That is reassuring, providing that you check to see that I am truly breathing.
Oh, mutant. I actually heard that behind me, so I should have been more proactive with that, but... Oh! Gotta get out of this fire. That'll deal some serious damage for us.
The only bunny mutant is a dead mutant.
Is that another idol I hear?
Put the bridge behind you as soon as you can. That's my advice.
Ah! I was right. I did hear that. Let's continue forward. Don't want to get lost. Definitely don't want to get separated from my team.
Only a blackguard would waste Medicaid on so petty.
Squad currency is a big part of Darktide's combat. You definitely always want to stick close by to your teammates.
God Emperor. Glorious ammo here.
Call the elevator, but remain vigilant. They won't let you leave without a fight.
Nice little parry in there. Gotta make sure you get your pushes in. Give yourself a bit of breathing room. Let's hope. They got it. This gun is not accurate enough for that. I'll leave that to my teammates then. It seems like no one can get it quite that range. Ah, but they got it. Oh, I thought he was still alive. We are definitely out of position way out here, but given the lower difficulty, as long as we're careful, it should be alright. But once you get up to those higher difficulties and modifiers and whatnot, you'll definitely want to be back here. Keep your positioning advantage. Nice little dodge. Maybe that dodge was actually the way to go. Looks like I'll have to be adjusting the build after.
Intel suggests that some kind of demon is responsible for the disruption to the water supply. Relic will tell you that the creature lives somewhere out in the hourglass, and this is only a piece of its being. I'm not convinced, but be ready for anything.
Do our best. We're here to destroy a demon that's infecting the water supply. And if you know anything about people, it's that they definitely need water to live. So.
Welcome to Ragtown. Get through it and you'll be at the silo.
Not that way. Bridge is out. Have to take a side path, maybe?
Ammunition for holy deeds. I have never met a problem.
And of course, the Emperor provides us a side path. Another one of these heretical idols. 3 out of 4. Always make sure to get those. For 1, because they're heretical. But 2, they give you plasteel, which is upgrade material. Oh. Always make sure to push those out the way. I want to recharge that Medicaid station, but my teammates aren't sticking around long enough to give us the time to. Teammates down, definitely gotta help them out right away.
You do not want her as an enemy.
Getting trapped by a trapper, the only way to get set free is actually from another teammate. So yeah, if you see a teammate trapped by a trapper, you gotta help him up immediately. Oh! Let me get it. 4 out of 4. Teammates down. Use our stun grenade to help him out. Get him up. You see a shotgun like that, you're definitely going to want to close the distance. You do not want them to just be able to fire on you.
Focus on duty and we make.
You see our teammate is very low. Just gave him a med stim, gave him a bit of his health back. He definitely needed that. You can see on our left, we only have 3 bars of health, and he was on his last one. Continue our way forward. There's the silo cluster. Oh, more materials. More ammo.
At the point of no return.
I hear another heretic icon, but I can see it. Whatever. I know we got 4 out of 4, so let's not worry. I'm definitely just messing around. I should not be firing this far away, but I can't help it.
It's uplifting how even criminals are outcast take up arms to defend the Toma.
You just kicked me through the barrel? Oh.
Time to go to work. Get the auto-drones running, but don't let the demon interfere.
A mighty blow.
Oh, teammates hanging back a little bit.
Destroy the Nordic group.
Gonna need y'all down here. We're here in the silo cluster. Now we're gonna need to purge the demonic growth. Use our trusty icon. Take out all of its little clusters. Oh! Man, he almost had me. Ooh. Guess I was kind of out of position here. I was just kind of out in the open with no way out. Alright, we got this one. Its eye is exposed. Teammates down. Gotta try to help them as soon as we can. Our other teammate got them up. That's great. Reload while we can. Grab some ammo. That music's playing. Feeling good. Killing some heretics for the sake of the Emperor. Let's do this. Oh, other one's over there. Every demonic growth will always have 3 of these, and then the main eye will appear.
You've got one more to destroy.
Over here, it looks like. Where are you going? Get off me. Teammate over there by himself. Should not be doing that. Even on these kind of starter difficulties, you could definitely still get overwhelmed. Messed up on the parry there, but was still able to recover and block the shot. Let's see if we can't blow him up. That's the way to do it. Get him at range or push him back. You can see me often marking them. That's a bit of a trait that I picked up from playing a few of the other classes, but it is always useful to make sure that you're making sure that your team is aware of any lingering threats that are around. They can help them see something that maybe they aren't able to see currently. Oh! Oh no! That was enough to kill him. Pick up his authority stem. Just because he is a casualty, you can actually see where his life bar was. The bottom left. A rescue counter ticking down. Because he wasn't actually killed, despite what I said. He was actually... Oh. What's going on over there? He was actually taken captive. And here he is right here. We can rescue him and get him back in the fight. Oh, that's that. Come on, teammate. Let's go. The hordes won't ever stop, so once you're able to extract, get out.
Get for the sinners!
I never used this, so there you go. Another job well done. Mission completed. Heretic plan foiled. You can see, check the scoreboard. Seems to have had a pretty good performance. I see a lot of gold on our column. Seems we did pretty well. That's always good to see. We got a new weapon unlock, always useful. Another weapon unlock, always useful. Healthy amount of ordo dockets, which are very, very important for us to have. Good amount of plasteel, good amount of demantine. And a gift from the Emperor himself, a combat axe. Lovely. Wonderful. Very successful mission.
It's starting to look like there's more to all this than some renegade guardsman wielding a grudge. Not sure what those things were, but you can be sure it's going to be trouble. Still, clean water's flowing again. You've given the heretics one in the eye into the bargain. We'll get the silo secured. Hopefully that's an end of the matter. I've cut you the necessary clearance for the commissary. You've earned it.
Thank you, Sergeant Major Morrow. We now have access to the commissary. You've been granted access to the commissary. Here you can obtain new outfits for your ventures. That's always useful.
I have been reviewing your record, Sergeant Major.
Oh,
large sections of it appear to be...
Got a little nervous. I saw a commissar there.
Probably just data gremlins, Mom. Back on Armageddon, things got a bit tricky during the final days of the war.
Which war was that, exactly?
There's only one battle for Armageddon that matters, Mom.
Okay. Here we can check out the commissary.
How about this?
How about it? Seems we can get some operative cosmetics. These you can spend your well-earned ordo dockets on. Some of them cost quite a bit, but once you get to those higher difficulties, you'll be getting that amount in a decent enough time. I just personally never like to really get them, use them. I find the other cosmetics much more interesting, especially since these are just kind of bought with money. While the ones I prefer, oh, there's also weapon cosmetics. Same thing. Some of them will look pretty cool, but not really what I'm after. The ones I always prefer would be the ones from the penances. These are basically like achievements. So you can see from my Zealot one, I have almost all of the achievements here. And a good portion of these each give you a unique cosmetic. And those are the ones that I always prefer. I feel like it's much more of a kind of show of pride and like, look what I did, look what I was able to accomplish, you know? And also, they just kind of look better. Even this outfit I'm currently wearing is actually different from the outfit we started in. I added in the eye patch, since canonically this dude kind of lost his eye. I added in the eye patch. This outfit, even though we started in this one, and this lower body, even though we started in this one. You can see I have quite the collection thanks to my time playing Darktide before this. So don't worry too much about not having enough things of your own, you know. Just play the game how you will. Enjoy it. We did get a new combat axe, and that seems good enough for now. But I think we will stick with our Devil's Claw sword. We also have the combat blade. We can go into keeping weapons and discarding them later on. But for now, what I always do is if I plan to use a weapon, I'll generally favorite it. Same thing with the braced auto gun. I don't believe we achieved any more mastery because I have the max mastery already. But these come into effect basically as you use a weapon more and more. You'll gain more mastery with it, and it tracks across all classes, so any weapon that is shared between classes will be the same level across all of them. So if you max out with one class, you'll have it max mastery in the other ones. One example of this would be the combat blade, which I haven't used at all in this playthrough, but it's already max level. You can see mastery level 20, 25,000 HP out of 25,000 XP. Same thing with the double claw sword, and these other ones are just ones that I just generally don't use. This can be a little bit difficult to use sometimes, but we can go over that another time. For now, we got 2 more talent points. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, Persian clean, plus 5% damage against infested and unyielding enemies. Well, I did actually see that we were doing quite a lot of dodges, so let's take that second wind. Finesse damage for 3 seconds unsuccessful dodge. Finesse damage could be useful since we have such a quick weapon. I believe it is finesse based. Yeah, you can see our finesse stat on there. Could take that, and then we every now and then you'll encounter one of these kind of choke points where you have to take this. Usually these are kind of standard or default for the class. So in my case, since I'm a zealot, I am all about melee damage plus 10% melee damage. So now whenever to go back from the top, we take plus 5% damage. We deal plus 5% damage every second melee attack we make based on the previous melee attack, and it stacks up to 5 times per enemy hit. So if we hit 5 enemies, then our next attack will deal 25% extra damage. We have second wind, plus 5% toughness replenished on a successful dodge, so whenever we dodge an attack, and you'll see me often dodging backwards, left, or right, especially on some of those big, heavy looking attacks that maulers will drop in, you know, that they bring their weapon straight up in the air and slam it right down on you. That is absolutely necessary to dodge, because if you do not dodge that, that could actually one-shot you and down you in a single hit. Then we have Duelist, plus 50% finesse damage for 3 seconds on a successful dodge, and since we'll be dodging, we'll be making good use of that. And then we have our plus 10% melee boost. Next up, we actually get to pick our Blitz. One of the kind of keystones for, well, actually these are the keystones. One of the important parts of kind of establishing our build. So we'll get there. We'll deal with that when we get to it. But for now, I think that's it. We completed another campaign mission, leveled up a little bit, tried out some new weaponry that seemed to work pretty well for us, and of course, took out some nasty heretics. What fun. Thanks for being here, folks. I've been Josuke. I hope you've enjoyed this next mission. I hope you'll continue to go with me through these missions. I can't wait for this Qatari class to drop. Very excited for it. You're strong, you're important, you matter, you're special. Don't suffer in silence. Seek help if you need help. Everyone needs help every now and then. Even in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, you matter and you're important. And I think that is actually one of the most important things from Darktide that means the most to me. And as always, the Emperor protects. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, folks.